This is called Petrie's Promo Roundup Quick Hit Holiday Weekly News for People. Okay? Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called the Promo UPFront Podcast. Welcome to episode number 73. I'm one of your hosts, Bill Petrie. With me, as always, the lieutenant of leftovers, the general of the green bean casserole, the private of pumpkin pie himself, the one and only Kirby Hasseman. Kirby, gobble gobble, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. We obviously did a little bit of a thankfulness exercise last week, and that was really cool. But this is one of my favorite holidays, probably my favorite holiday. It's like Christmas without all the gifts. I love the food. I love the sort of the get together. And so this is I always kind of call this like Thanksgiving week. So the whole week is sort of a celebration of gratefulness. And so I love that. How about you?
I'm doing great. Just coming off my birthday, which I'm now 77 years young, so feel pretty good about that.
You look great for 77.
I appreciate that. I really do. So I like you, pretty much taken most of the week off. I don't know if you're doing that. I'm doing that, but I want to focus on family. I want to focus on just relaxing a little bit before the holidays get started, and been really hectic last couple months. So pretty excited about that. Just ready to kind of lay down. But sometimes, Kirby, I want to step up. And when it's time to step up, I want to find me a soapbox to step up on. I bet you didn't know that. That's right. At this point, we know what the soapbox is, right? It's one-on-one brainstorming supplier meeting platform designed for those deeper dive conversations. They've extracted the most productive elements of the in-person hosted buying event format and created a very, very easy to use custom online platform that delivers a streamlined and improved experience for distributors. Now, Kirby, my favorite part is it's super manageable. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of great things about the platform, but I want you to remember this, Kirby. 4, 2, 1.
Okay.
It's for a distributor. It's 4 meetings.
Yep.
Takes 2 hours a month, 1 time a month.
Correct.
That's it. And I know you love how efficient and effective those meetings are, Kirby.
Yeah, and I was really impressed with the quality of the meetings. I was one of the first adopters, and so I've been doing it for quite some time. The other thing that I hadn't thought to mention to you, but it is pretty cool, is that there's like a backlog of all the meetings that you have with the contact information of all the people that you do. And you know how it is when you have one of these meetings is like, oh, that's a really interesting product, but I don't have a project for that now. And then 3 months down the road, you're like, oh my gosh, who was that person? What was that company? And how can I get a hold of them? And one of the cool things about the Soapbox is you've got that there, and you can be like, you literally click on it and call them right from there. And that's actually pretty cool part of the platform.
That's a really cool feature. I mean, honestly, exactly what you said. It's a great feature. And there's a bunch of those little features in there, but honestly, why the hell should anybody take your word for it? I know I would. Yeah. How about this little nugget from Quizwachowiak from Ronin Branding? I have made amazing supplier connections and dramatically grown my business thanks to the Soapbox platform. This is an epic experience. Now, if you can't say your supplier meetings are epic, it's probably time to go ahead and step on that soapbox there, buddy.
Yeah.
To learn more, go ahead and complete the request info form at promosoapbox.com, or you can send an email over to info@promosoapbox.com, and you're not going to be sorry you did.
Sweet.
All right, Kirby. So we're back to our normal format this week, Promo UPFront. So you have the luxury of having the opening topic, of which I have no idea what you're going to talk about. So Kirby, please, Promo UPFront.
Yeah. So the headline is Live Merch Makes a Comeback. Live concert merch makes a comeback.
Okay.
And so, I think many of us for 18 to 24 months to 10 years, whatever it felt like during that, one of the things that went away was live music. Right. And you and I've talked about that. I know that you live for live music. I love live music as well. and musical festivals and shows are booking, like especially into 2022, they're really growing. And so with live music being back, it's bringing back the demand for live concert merch. And so there's a ton of big name artists that are planning their 2022 tours. For me, I think I like to listen to Zach Brown, Jimmy Buffett, Kenny Chesney. Kenny Chesney is planning; he's a big promoting their summer tour as well. So I say that to say, merch from the live concert venue is back. Do you think this is a trend that helps bring the industry and sort of some of that back? Is that just one piece of the puzzle, or is it a sort of a symbol of things to come?
I think it's both. I think it can be both. I mean, I do believe it's a piece of the puzzle. Concert merch. I'm real close to it here in Nashville.
Yeah.
When the tour business kind of went out of business during the pandemic, a lot of people we knew didn't have jobs, and so it was very, very painful. And obviously, merch being a big part of that. So I think that's a big piece of the puzzle. But I also think it portends for all of us just looking for that opening to get back. Let's go. And not get back to normal. I don't want to get into all of that and what the new normal is, blah, blah, blah. But we want to move forward. I think people are just ready to move forward. You take some of the things we were able to do before and you reconfigure them into whatever life looks like today. And I think what you're seeing is a real representation of that in the music industry. Yeah, especially with merch. Now, a lot of bands did some really cool things during the pandemic where they had live shows where you could pay to see them online and order merch. So they had special merch just for those events. So they've kind of gotten it from the get-go.
Yeah, I think one of the telltale signs of this is that I think this was true when I had the brewery, is obviously we were in the business of selling beer. Live music, you're in the business of selling tickets. I mean, for the most part,
right?
But it shows the additional revenue streams that I think sometimes we lose sight of and we take for granted. That it's actually an additional revenue stream for many of the artists. It's a way that they increase their income. So I just thought it was a cool topic. So
it's a huge revenue stream. I mean, if you think about, if you're into music at all of us of a certain age who grew up, most bands made their money from selling albums. They went to tour to support sales of the album.
Right.
Now it's completely 180 degrees. They put out new music so they can tour and make money and sell merchandise. It's just the way it is. Nobody makes any money off those streams off of Spotify or Apple Music or any of them. They have to play live. And so it's a big deal.
Yeah. It is kind of interesting. And by the way, kudos to the music industry for figuring that flip out. Like you're 100% right that that's a 180 of a complete business model. There aren't a lot of business models who can go, hey, the way we did it all our lives, and in the course of 5 years, we're going to switch it completely. I just think that's interesting.
Yeah, it is. All right. Good topic. Good promo up front. All right, Kirby, I have a brand new segment for our show. This is called Petrie's Promo Roundup, quick hit holiday weekly news for people. Okay. So I'm going to list, there's a bunch of nothing going on in our,
I'm sorry. Can you say that again, please?
Yeah, sure. Petrie's Promo Roundup, quick hit holiday weekly news for people.
That's well done. It's well done. Go ahead. Sorry.
Is that for the open?
I don't know. Maybe. But I just thought it was funny.
Anyway, so there's really nothing going on this week. So for a podcast that's called Promo UPFront, there wasn't much upfront, folks. Yeah. Bad news. So, Kirby, we're going to go through about 6 topics. I just want a 1 or 2 sentence from you, and then we move on. All right?
I like it.
These are things that, according to our news outlets in the industry, are going on and we should pay attention to. Now, to me, most of these are filed under, you think? Yeah. But hey, people got to write. News has to be shared. All right. Number 1, Kirby, Mandalay Bay Convention Center is ready for PPI Expo 2022.
Good. I'm excited. I don't, you and I haven't talked about this, but that's where I booked my, I'm staying at Mandalay Bay this year for the first time in probably, I don't know, 10 or 15 years. So I'm excited that they're ready for me. Good to know.
Well, I'm glad they're ready for you too. So there's that. I'm ready too. All right. The United States Postal Service expects heavy holiday volume.
Brand new information. That's
I had no clue.
So it's funny. I think that's the headline we need to send to our customers who are looking up and going, wait, there's delays. we've been telling them since April, but yeah, they're just figuring that out. It's cool.
Yeah, I laugh every time I see a headline like that. It happens every year too. Hey, mail things early. It's like, okay, we got it. All right. Here's one that just shocked me, Kirby. Pandemic's strain on workers is taking a toll.
But I giggle about that one, but that one is, man, you're seeing it everywhere. Like I was actually having a conversation with Em in my office, the office manager, and she's, we both said, man, we love Thanksgiving. But this year she was saying, man, it just feels like everybody's so on edge, and that it does speak to that. She goes, I'm going to have several beers to try and avoid all the conversations. And so there's a lot of people on edge.
Well, if people don't think the pandemic has taken a toll on all of us for years, we're all going to have some sort of scar tissue from this. Yeah. You're blind, deaf. All right. Yeah. The U.S. Senate confirms CPSC Commissioner Richard Trumka Jr. Congratulations.
All right. I have no comment.
Cool. OSHA suspends workplace vaccine mandate following a court ruling.
Now, see, I think that's a pretty big headline. I didn't know that you'd bring that one up, but I'm both surprised and not surprised by that. I think that we've managed to make some of this pretty political, and so when there's a mandate on one side, another group is going to fight against it, and that's fine. That's the United States. To me, I was thinking about this. In some ways, I'll draw it back to the mask piece as opposed to vaccine, right? So when Ohio Governor Mike DeWine issued, and he was one of the early ones on shutdown, on mask, all that stuff.
Right.
To me, there was a whole group of people who were pissed off at him because he's overextending his rights. But from my perspective, he did small businesses a service, not only from a healthcare perspective, if that it'll hopefully keep the workers safe and the employees safe, but it also gave small businesses an out, because they could say, it's not me. I'm not making you do that, Mr. Customer. It's the governor. It's not up to me. Yeah. And so it kind of gave them an out. And I kind of feel like, to a degree, that's what the government's doing with this vaccine mandate, is they're saying, everybody throw their arrows at us so that businesses can go, sorry, we just have to do it.
I just think it's one of those very slippery slope things. Obviously I'm for the vaccine, and not getting into political discussion about it, but I'm not a huge fan of government overreach, and this is what it feels like a little bit. And I don't know. I don't know all the right answers. I just think it's one of those things, because of the way our system is set up, it's going to be delayed 800 times, because I got to tell you, there's no way to implement something like this without completely disenfranchising people. It's definitely going to be one of those things. The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah. It's a tough one, but there's conversation about it, I'm sure, around you. I have conversation around it every single day. So it'll be interesting.
No, I get it. All right, Kirby, you got another topic for us?
Okay, cool. We got through all those. Okay, so
did you like the new segment?
That was fun. I actually did kind of like that, because I went through all those websites today and was like, no. So I feel you on that.
So I decided to bundle it together into one little package.
One topic that got you to move on. That's brilliant on your part. Okay.
I wouldn't go that far.
The headline: workers suffer headaches of hybrid. I actually thought this was kind of interesting. It said, as companies grapple with the challenges of hybrid work, employees are landing, the people who are doing hybrid. So there's people who are just going back to the office, and then there's people who are always remote, and their employees are landing in a mushy middle ground. So, with some colleagues working in the office and they're still getting the advantage of the water cooler talk, then there's some people who are, feel like they're missing out because they're not. Some employers have established Zoom rules. At Zillow, the one Zoom, all Zoom policy requires all staff to join meetings from separate laptops, even if only one person is dialing in virtually. So there's like this whole kind of, and again, I think you and I talked about the idea that there was going to be hiccups about this from the beginning. That feels like an overreach, by the way, but I was curious to know what do you think? I mean, is this something we're just going to work through, or do you think we're going to move to a place where it's like, dude, either work remote or work here, you pick?
I think when workers are given, with freedom comes responsibility, and it sometimes comes with drawbacks, right? I mean, if you choose to work from home, you don't have to commute, your bathroom's clean, and so on and so forth, and you have a lot more privacy. But you're going to give away some of that camaraderie you would normally have in the office. And so I don't think it's this is a slippery slope. How many times am I going to say that this podcast? I don't know if it's the employer's responsibility to make everybody feel okay. You've made a choice, deal with it.
Right.
And to me, it's like someone who chooses to spend more money to live close to work in a downtown area, but has a very small house, or a very small apartment, I should say, as opposed to someone who lives in the suburbs. Those are choices. They both work at the same place, but they have their homes are different, very different. Their commutes are very different. If an employer is giving the option of either working hybrid work, or working from home and all that, I don't think basically making everybody else all of a sudden work remote just to make the one person feel better.
Yeah.
Even though all the other people are sitting in the office, so everybody's sitting in their office on a Zoom call, that to me is just silly.
Yeah.
And again, give people the choice. They will do the math. I get this, but now I'm going to miss out on this. And you have to weigh the scales yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think they're trying to, I'm sure this was Zillow. I'm sure they're trying to manage the culture of it. And I'll be the first to say, like, we had a meeting today.
Yeah.
Which was, everybody was on Zoom. Dustin sits, 15 feet from me, a couple people downstairs, but then 4 or 5 people are from home. So it was kind of that felt natural. But if everybody comes into a staff meeting, which we do in-person staff meetings, and one person can't be there, then we set the laptop on the conference table, and the rest of us have an in-person meeting. I think you're punishing. It's a little bit like starting a meeting late while everybody's sitting around a table because somebody's not there. That's to me, that's bullshit. Like, you're punishing everybody else. So that's,
I have said that to you a million times. I don't punish people for being on time.
Yeah.
And I think with what you're saying, I get what you're saying in that environment. I think you just leave it up to people. Here's the thing. If 3 people want to rally around a computer for a meeting, go ahead. Who cares? If they want to get in a conference room because they happen to be in the office, that's fine. Yeah. To legislate it, though, like a Zillow is so silly to me. Okay, well, one person's on a Zoom call, so we all have to have our own individual Zoom areas. I think that's silly. I'm sorry, that's dumb.
Yes, you talk about overreach from the government. That's over legislation right inside of a company.
All right, Kirby, I've got a headline. It's not my normal make you giggle headline, but this one caught my attention, and I do want to talk about this.
Okay.
The perils of branding your workplace as a family.
Okay. Oh, I actually like this. Okay.
So many companies obviously use the word family to describe their company culture, right?
And we used to.
Welcome to the Hasseman marketing family, or so on and so forth. Well, this article from the Harvard Business Review suggests that's harmful.
Yeah.
For 3 reasons. One, personal and professional lives begin to blur.
Okay.
Right. Family means different things to different people.
Sure.
A little bit of confusion there. And not everyone wants to connect with their coworkers on a deeper level. So that's one. Number 2, an exaggerated sense of loyalty can become harmful because in family cultures, employees are willing and able to go the extra mile, but studies show that overly loyal people are the first ones to do unethical things in order to accomplish a goal, not disappoint their employer. And it can lead to burnout as well. And then the third one, that the power dynamic exists where employees get taken advantage of. It ends up making employees feel unempowered. Mommy and daddy are always going to decide everything in this little family here. And it's hard to reprimand, let alone fire a family member. So
that's the one, like, to me. Yeah.
All right,
go ahead.
So tell me, I've got some thoughts here.
Yeah.
But obviously you do too. So
yeah, it's something I actually have given a great deal of thought to. I mean, that was certainly something when we first started. Hey, we're all family, and that was something. And I actually read John Taffer. John Taffer did a
Bar Rescue.
Bar Rescue. And he had a book where he talked about this. And I forget, Raise the Bar or something like that was his book. And he actually said that it's harmful to do it. And it was one of those moments where I read it and it just clicked. He said, he said, and we do this, we're members of a team, right? Because we're all striving for the same goal, but underperforming team members don't get kept. Right? Like it's really hard to let go of a family member. And there can be you talked about it really from the employee perspective in that article. And that's great that, you're asking them to do more, but I think it's the opposite, at least again, from my perspective, because that's the perspective I have, is like, oh, it's really, I'm overly loyal to people who are not performing sometimes because they're members of the family, not members of the team. And I think as a coach, it's easier to coach them up, discipline them, or, cheer for the people who are doing more. So I don't necessarily agree with the first like two reasons it gave. I wasn't necessarily buying that, but the biggest one was exactly the loyalty piece. I think that makes a ton of sense.
So I happen to agree with you. I would like to disagree with you, but I don't. I think the word family, especially as it relates to a workplace environment, is one of those crutch words that we use. And we want to make people feel warm and welcome, but it does set a code of expectations where, like you were talking about, the way I looked at it, and he did not cover it in the article. I think family members can also take advantage of one another because they know they're not going to do anything. I mean, we're part of a family. So I think you get sometimes people not working as hard and not focused on performance of the overall group. I like the word you used, which is team. That's a far more apt description because you're right. And Taffer's right. Underperforming team members, they're not going to be here. And that's, we all have to be okay with that.
Right.
We may like the people on our team. We may really love hanging out with the people on our team. We may hate the people on our team. There are plenty of teams where the quarterback and the head coach hated each other, right? But they were successful. So I agree with you. I just thought it was a really interesting perspective and one I hadn't thought about.
Yeah. And the other thing I would say about teams is I think just by nature, when you call something a team is aspirational, right?
Yes.
A
family can be entitled.
Right. Exactly. So I think the idea that you're trying to strive for excellence, it isn't necessarily about winning, which there's a great book on that about the infinite game with Simon Sinek, but it's about striving to do the very best you can and not letting your team members down if everybody else is performing. So that is something I've actually given a lot of thought to.
And the other part of it too, that I don't think people think about, when you keep an underperforming person on your team, the message you send to everybody else is, I not only accept, I reward mediocrity.
Yeah.
And that brings down a family or a team or a group, whatever word you want to put on it. And so when you have those type of that nomenclature in place where it prevents you from really acting as a steward of your organization, not great, although it's well-intentioned.
Yeah, it is. And I think it's subconscious too. Right. Like I'll be the first to say it affected my behavior early on. And I think I'm better for it by changing that.
Well, I'm sure you had to be purposeful about not using that word because it's a crutch word. It's easy to use. All right, Kirby, I thought we'd play a fun little game today. I think we're at the party in the back, a little shorter podcast today as people are hopefully enjoying a little bit of time off with their family and friends. I want to get to know Kirby, a little Thanksgiving weekend edition. So I'm just going to ask you a couple questions. There's no right or wrong answers because actually I don't even know the answers to these questions. So just a little fun here. You can just take a deep breath, relax, nothing to worry about. All right, Kirby, how many meals will you make out of Thanksgiving dishes, including Thanksgiving Day? So you're going to have the Thanksgiving Day meal. How many more meals will you get out of that meal?
So like leftovers kind of thing is what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So I would I eat lunch at in-laws and then we'll do dinner with my side of the family. I probably won't make a lot because we don't host it. Like if we hosted it and there'd be a lot of leftovers, I'm not opposed to leftovers, big fan, but for that particular holiday, we don't host it. So I would say if I have one, it will that would be tops.
Okay. What is the latest time you'll sleep in this week? Because you're an early riser, as am I, and I know you'll be working tomorrow. Maybe ease out Wednesday. What's the latest you'll sleep in by we get to Monday morning?
So I have an older dog. You know that. He wakes up at 4 a.m. I don't know how to break that. So every morning,
I do.
It's uncanny. He's so old that I don't want to hurt him.
Right.
But let me just tell you, it's like he has his own alarm clock, 4 a.m. every day. He was 3:59 this morning. So once I can get him out, and if I can get him go back to sleep, I'm going to go probably 7:30 will be the latest.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I mean, if I sleep in.
I struggle with that. Once you have kids, you kind of, unfortunately, you get hardwired into getting up early. And so like sleeping until 6:30, 7 o'clock is like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah.
All right. When will your house be fully decorated for Christmas?
That's a good one. Amy takes the lead on most of that. But I would say, let's see, it's December, I'm sure. She actually has some of our outdoor stuff because we had a really pretty day like a week or so ago. And so she put some of that up. We still go get a live tree. So we actually make a point of going down and cutting it down and doing all that. And because our discipline of watering said tree is not great, we need to wait a little later so we don't kill it before Christmas Day. So I would guess December 8th.
Okay. Are you more excited for the holiday season or bitter because it's getting colder?
I'm doing better about the cold thing. That's something I've worked on over the last couple of years. I layer up a lot more so that I'm not so cold. If I'm being honest, what I'm really excited about this year is Skylar and the grandbaby. So
totally get that.
Yeah.
Kirby, which do you enjoy more, a Christmas beer or a nice old glass of eggnog?
Oh God, that's easy. Christmas beer, Christmas ale. I'm actually not a big eggnog fan. I would try yours. I'm sure it's delicious. Right. But the Great Lakes Christmas ale is
very good.
Oh, I could drink that all year long. It's so good.
There's still nothing better than Shiner Cheer. I'm just letting you know.
And I've had Shiner Cheer. I like Shiner Cheer. It's got the peach flavor as well, but I like the Christmas ale.
Yeah. So I know you're going to be watching a lot of football this weekend. It's a big football weekend. So I ran out of questions. So we're just going to do a little turkey weekend football pick 'em. Okay. I think we should make a little bet. I've got 8 games here and a tiebreaker. Let's say that whoever wins gets the hat of their choice provided by the other person. Is that good with you?
Okay, sure.
Or is there anything? It's still fun there.
Yeah, that's great.
All right.
I love it.
So let's start with college. Thanksgiving night, the Egg Bowl. Mississippi State is getting 1 over Ole Miss, and that's in Starkville.
Yeah. See, you're gonna have an advantage on this because I think I don't know. I don't pay as close attention on this. I'll go. Who's what's the guy that everybody hates? The coach.
The Pirate down in Starkville, Ole Miss. Oh, you're talking about Ole Miss coach Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin. Ole Miss. Okay, I'll go Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. All right, I'm gonna go Ole Miss too. Okay. We don't have to disagree. We'll add it up. All right, Iron Bowl, Alabama versus Auburn. Always a great game. This is in Auburn this year. Alabama's favored by 19.5.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably the easiest one you have on here. Alabama.
Yeah, I'm going Bama too. I'm writing that down. Ohio State is favored by 7.5 over Michigan.
It's going to be a hell of a game. Okay. I'm going to vote with my heart. It being at the big house is a big deal, and I think the team up north is pretty good this year. And it depends on which Ohio State team shows up. If the one that came to play last week, it'll be Ohio State.
Yeah. Okay. I prefer both teams to lose. I can't root for Ohio State, and I certainly can't root for a Harbaugh, but I'm going to take Michigan, not to win, but I think they cover. So I'll take Michigan.
We're doing it just based on the bet. Okay, cool.
Why not?
Okay, sure. That's fine.
Texas A&M versus LSU. Coach Orgeron's last game. This is in Death Valley. Texas A&M is getting 6.5 points.
So so LSU's favored?
LSU is they're getting
Oh,
they're getting points.
Okay, LSU's getting points.
A&M's favored by 6.5.
Thank you. It's funny. We talked about this before we started recording. I tend to root for A&M because of you, because I'm a pretty good friend, and so
I think so.
I think I'm gonna say A&M. Plus,
Giga Maggies are gonna.
I will
Coach
say the
O
Death Valley
door.
thing. Death Valley thing is something, but I'm gonna
play Coach O's last game.
Yeah, I don't think he's a great coach. All right, so that's fine.
Let's go to the National Football League, Kirby. On Thanksgiving Day, the Chicago Bears versus the Detroit Lions. Chicago is favored by 3.5.
Again, I like Justin Fields. I'd like to see him continue to grow and progress. So I'm going to go Bears.
I'm going to go Lions on this one.
Yeah. Who'd you go with on A&M and LSU?
Oh, Texas A&M. Good old Army Aggies.
Okay. Just make sure.
No, I'm taking Detroit on that one.
Okay.
Las Vegas Raiders against the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas favored by a touchdown.
Yeah. So what I've seen this year with Dallas is they're up and down. They just got manhandled in this last week. And so my guess is Dak will have the boys ready to play. I'm going to go Dallas.
I'm reluctantly going Dallas. I think they'll win, but I think it's going to be close, but I'm going to go with it. All right. Buffalo Bills versus New Orleans Saints.
Yikes.
The Bills are favored by 4.
Oh my gosh, boy! Both teams look like crap
in New Orleans too. In the Superdome. I'm
going to say the Bills bounce back.
All right, I'm going to go Buffalo as well. All right, here we go. Cleveland against the hated Baltimore Ravens, and the Ravens are favored by 4.5 points. And this is in Baltimore.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So I think Baltimore is going to win going away.
Okay. Okay. So you're going to go with the Ravens, right?
That hurts my soul. But yeah, I think if I'm betting anything, it's going to be the Ravens. Baker can't throw the ball, so it's a challenge.
I think the Baker Mayfields are going to pull it out. I'm going to go with Cleveland. All right, our tiebreaker, Kirby, is total points for the Michigan-Ohio State game. That's set at 68.5. So just pick how many points, total points.
Wow, that's high.
Yeah, it is.
That could be a barn burner, though. I'm picking just total or over or under?
Total points. No, just total points. I gave you the over under just for, just to kind of give you some.
And you said that's 68?
68.5.
Yeah, I'll go 69 points.
Okay. I went 57 points. So we're locked in. Okay. We're locked in. We will very quickly review this next week and go from there. I thought that'd be just something a little fun to do.
Love it. And hopefully we can call Josh Robbins to be our bookie. So it'll be great.
Oh yeah. No, Josh will want some sort of vig on this. I'm sure,
he'll have an opinion.
Yeah.
And he's going to be mad at me about this Browns pick. I'm sorry, Josh.
Well, who's never going to be mad at you, Kirby?
Who's that, Bill?
Those are the suppliers on the Soapbox virtual platform because they're so happy to be there. You as a distributor are so happy to be there. And when you get through one group of happy people with another group of happy people, do you know what you get? Happy people. That's right. And that's what Soapbox does. They create happiness because they've got that great virtual platform. Super simple. We talked about 4-2-1. I can't do that with my fingers, but it's 4 meetings. It takes about 2 hours of time once a month for distributors. And you heard Kirby talk about it. You hear Kirby talk about it often, but Chris Wachowiak from Ronin Branding, one of my favorite quotes, this is an epic experience. And if you can't say that your supplier meetings are an epic experience, you're doing it wrong. So head over to promosoapbox.com and find the request info form, Mr. and or Mrs. Distributor, and get on the Soapbox. You're not going to be sorry you did. Or you can even send an email to info@promosoapbox.com. Kirby, I enjoyed it. I hope you and your family have a lovely giving of thanks this week. And as always, I appreciate you and I appreciate both of our listeners.